This is a game that I saw a while ago, and I remember the art style looking really cool, and it had something to do with walking along the beach while your mother told you stories about monsters that were trying to hunt you that you had to avoid, or... I don't remember what this game is about. I got downloaded it such a long time ago, but I remember it looking interesting, so we're going to try it out today. My cousin was a deaf child. One time he went alone to the lake to take feathers from loons. What, like crazy people? So that he could become a bird. He did not know the stories of the qalupalik, who watched him from under the ice. Started to hum, but my cousin could not hear. He gathered all the... Who lets a deaf child go out if they know there's that thing there? He gathered all the feathers, the loose ones, even the feathers still on the loons. Okay? Then turned to leave. The qalupalik, whatever, don't know how to pronounce that, grabbed him with her long nails. She shoved him screaming into her amuti and dove into the water.
Qalupalik.
The qalupalik is a mythical creature from Inuit folklore. Much like the boogeyman, the qalupalik is said to kidnap misbehaving children. The legend's practical purpose is to keep children away from thin ice or bodies of water, as this is where the creatures are said to live. If children are found alone at the edge of the ice, the qalupalik is said to stuff them into its amatik, similar to a parka, before drowning them in the icy water.
That's why in the summers there are always feathers on the lake. This is a true story, nothing quite says true story, quite like having to, say, yeah, this is true, I didn't make this up. Let me tell you a story. This is a story about you, but these are not your experiences. Still, I want to hear your voice. Let's start small. Do you prefer a white moon? Don't worry, there are no bad choices here. So when you've made up your mind, I'll begin the story. What are my options? Red moon, blue moon. Let's go for a blue moon. I'll begin the story. I found those beautiful. The way the town turns color under them. Okay, settle in and listen. 50 years ago, only a child, you wandered the shoreline in the dark season, as your mother had warned you never to. Do people not watch where their children are going if they know there's like shit here? Your boots anchor in the crunchy snow. This is the shore where, in the summer, your brother caught his first fish. It hadn't been a whale, but for weeks he acted intolerable with pride. Now, there's no one here. No one who could interpret your own search. Interesting. You don't reach the water before you find what you came for. A labeled can embedded in the earth, impervious to wind and ice. Your heart grows 10 sizes, filled with possibilities. You might want to go to a doctor for that. Doesn't sound good. It could be new or too worn, or maybe you already have this one. You seize the can. It must be recent because the snow inside is soft. Your mouth curls at a slight tear on the label, but at least the art is pristine. A smiling offers you canned meat products. Do you toss this one? You consider your options. There could be better cans back to the settlement. Do you... Some options are toss or hold on to. Let's hold on to, and then if we find a better one, then we keep it, you know? Or if we find a better one, then we keep the better one. You keep the can. There is worse artwork out there. Like all the labels that show... That one. Smoking precious wooden pipes. Those are definitely the works. Besides, this label is in good condition. Down the shore, a dark mass lies still on the floe edge. The chance for another can draws you closer. You step forward, the ice crunches under your feet. This seems like a bad idea. 1, 2, 3 steps. An unknown other inhabits your body like an unwelcome visitor. It seizes your chest, your mind. You hear an ancient sound. What does an ancient sound like? You hear it in your bones. Another night, another story. Your mother tells you bed stories about broken shores, cannibals taller than men, fish mothers under the sea. Is that like just fish, you know, the mothers of fish, you know, like Nemo's mom, just like a fish that's had a child? She works in your favorite flourishes, even the silly ones. Her brother feels the... Lots of words I can't pronounce in this. Long black nails grip his ankles. Can we change this? Green, blue, let's go black. Your mother pauses the story, seems distracted, then grabs your feet. You jolt like a bearded seal. She got you this time. This is worse than death. Your favorite stories are about Qikiqtaaluk, because he's as strong as Superman, brave as Superman. Let's do strong. She knows this, but she says some stories must be told, my little aunt. You prefer this name over... is he Elon Musk, my father? Let's do one with a 6. E627X2. The Qualence name for you. You've never met your aunt, but your mother compares you to her often. Frost falls from the roof and sleep comes. Another night. Another story. Your mother tells you bed stories about endless storms. A community without anuses. What kind of stories is my mother telling me? The origins of narwhals. Well, we all know the origins of that one. When a daddy unicorn and a mummy whale love each other very much. She works in your favorite flourishes, even the vulgar ones. Yes, I've noticed. Your cousin hears a distant hum and runs 10 miles to Rock Tripe. Your mother pauses the story, raises her hands, then resumes where she left off. You expected her to tickle you, or some other unfathomable act. Ever since you became conscious, you've lived with... let's do paint knees. I have a dodgy knee. There's nothing to be done about this. She knows this. She rubs your back each night to console you. It's said that your father shot a caribou and failed to kill it. But that's one person's belief. Not a well-liked individual either. Okay. The quick warms the house. Sleep comes. Another night, another story. Your mother tells you bed stories about loon tongues, the consequences of revenge, why the moon is cold. She works in your favorite flourishes, even the melancholy... Her aunt sees the... I'm assuming this thing's hooked nose, bulbous nose, button nose. Well, that's a hook. I want to see if it changed. That's a hooked nose. Before she slides down the slimy, bottomless walls of an amanti, your mother pauses her story, leans in close. Then pulls your nose. No, is nothing sacred in this world? Then pulls your nose. No, is nothing sacred in this world? Has had a bit of drama to it. There was a time when she told you these stories and didn't describe the qalupalik. Such words were left for you to envision. Why infringe upon your young imagination? Plus, whatever you imagine in your head will always be scarier than like what is actually shown to you, because our minds are fucked up. But you listen even more intently, even eagerly when she includes them. She knows this and adapts the stories. She covers you in blankets. Sleep comes. Oh. You hear an ancient sound. You hear it in your bones. 50 years ago, only a child, you encountered in the dark season, as your mother had hoped you never would. She slowly pulls herself onto the floe. You can't turn your head away. The unknown other makes you step forward. 1, 2, 3 steps, you feel the terror subside. 4, 5, 6 steps, you realize the truth. It spreads through you until you've always known it, until it is the only thing you've ever known. To feel safe again, move closer. That doesn't sound right, but okay. You are near enough that she inhabits every sense. She smells like seal rot, or the drowned corpses that they sometimes pull from the sea. You are inches from her touch, inches from safety. As she reaches out to take you, the unknown other flees. The fog inside your head clears. The terror that you need protection from is before you. The terror you need protection from is before you. You run. But as you turn, severe pain lances your knees. You can't hold yourself up and fall quietly into the flow, where the ice burns your skin. You prepare yourself to be taken, like in all the stories, to become only a warning for the other children. In these last moments, which are always vain, you hope the stories say you had muscles like... well, this dude, because... let's be taken. A moment passes, and another. The ice still burns on your cheek. No nails embrace you. No munti covers you. No water drowns you. The ancient sound fades to echoes deep in your memory. You crawl back from the who paws after you like a caged hound. Her black nails hold onto the ice. Why doesn't she follow? Why doesn't she take you? You crawl back further. She can't reach far. Her face is familiar, comforting. Is it though? Is it? You've seen her hooked nose 100 times beneath blankets near a warming... while frost falls from the roof. This is the from your mother's bedtime stories. Did you create her with those flourishes? You feel an uncertain connection to her, like a distant king. She doesn't move. She seems wounded. You wonder about the hums. If they're stories she tells children, the oldest stories of all. You stole yourself from her, like a thief would take food. So for her, you'll steal a different child. I'm sorry, what? That became a little tense. Let me tell you a joke. Yeah, the prospect of kidnapping became a little tense. What do you call a penguin in a... I don't know, what do you call a penguin in a... Oh! Lost. I didn't come up with that. I found it on the internet. One of those websites that has animated pictures. Settle in. I'll continue the story. Bear trap? 50 years ago, only a child, you set up a fox trap in the dark season, as your father had never taught you to. The steel is colder than the ground. You found this trap under the house, where time and disuse buried it beneath frost. Sometimes hunters take them out on the land and returns with bundles of animals to sell. The levers took a while to puzzle out, but now it's ready. Fucking with like bear traps and fox traps and stuff seems like if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna like mangle bits of yourself. Near the settlement, the dogs whimper and howl on their chains. You've heard them less and less. Most children are at school, idols in the claustrophobic spaces created by the plywood houses. You never go near them. They only smile on labels. He hoards the best comic in his hands, Superman. The cover shows Superman having some trouble with... Sometimes he doesn't wear clothes to hide his Krypton origins and gets them thoroughly flustered. You seize the comic, trying not to tear any pages. I'm so confused. As you turn to run, the face contorts into a caricature of a rage, with brows curved like knives, a nose scrunched so close to his forehead that he becomes an old man. The chases after you. So we're not human, right? Because these are humans, and something's wrong. Already your knees flare with each impact. Each step could be the moment when your body abandons you. You push out thoughts of the tackling you, pummeling you, telling the police as you pass between the houses towards the shore. The child, I'm just going to call him a child, follows you over the hill. You can't run anymore. You lower yourself to the ground, the most you can manage, and watch the child run towards you. 1, 2, 3 steps. The child is near. 4, 5. Fuck! 6 steps. That's gotta hurt. Let me tell you a story. This story is about the hill you trapped the child on. It is an old story. No one alive knows the people involved. I read it in a journal kept by an anthropologist who didn't record the performer's name. 200 years ago, beneath a cold moon, 5 hunters turned into dogs to go out onto the land. One hunter is crippled. She limps on a lame paw. She keeps up with the pack until they find a bear so quick it leaves no tracks. They chase the bear day and night, and the lame dog falls behind. The 4 dogs surround the bear, bark and snap and bare their teeth, but the 4 of them alone cannot slow it down. The shadow underneath the bear grows and grows as it leaves the ground. The bear reaches this hill, where it shoots up to the sky, and the 4 dogs follow. All at once they become luminous. They chase the bear across the stars, the lame dog forever behind. Why did I tell that story? It's hard to say. The silences in the records leave many holes. Why did the dogs leave their friend behind? What did the performer want us to feel? Did the polar bear have a cute little nose? We'd have to live a century ago, in that time and place, hear the subtle shifts of tone in the performer's voice, see their arms wave and feel their feet stomp. It wouldn't be enough for us to inhabit the anthropologist's mind, because in their beliefs it didn't matter who performed the story or how. The performer's words were salvaged from a culture thought to be near extinct. So when we hear the story, we have to breathe it into our own modern fears and lonelinesses. Let me tell you what I think. I think corporations chased our engineered warmth north. Where the endless sun gave them new avenues for profit. The bear knew when to get out. The dogs, being hunters and not shareholders, left their friend behind because no one wants to starve. I think the crippled hunter had no choices left after the wealthy developed the environment around her, constructed it, divided her worth solely by if she could kill a bear or not. And I think the distance between those stars isn't a distance of space, get it? But a warning about the future, to understand the history behind the social distances between us. But those are my tedious beliefs. Maybe those stars are ostriches. What future do I create when I tell tragedies? Here's what matters. When you trapped the child, you hadn't heard the history of the hill, so you couldn't imagine other futures. We can't know how you might have looked at the story, like a mirror, or turned away. Maybe this future will work out fine. The police don't find out, and use you to justify abuse. Maybe not. But in this story, your story, you always trap the child. 50 years ago, only a child, you ensnared a child in the dark season, as your parents had never known you would. You tried to remember how you originally imagined the situation. Did the child pass out, bow down and declare you his superior? You're not sure how to get him to the shore. The child struggles in the trap. A thought comes. What if he wants to be dragged under the sea? To live forever with a woman who smells like seal rot? You decide to ask. I don't think that's going to go great. You shout out after the child. The nails aren't so bad, and you get used to the smish feel. He doesn't respond. Some folks can't be reasoned with. Some folks just don't want to be kidnapped. Selfish bastards. You have some leverage, because surely he wants to know the ending to his superhero comic in your hands. Also, there's a rock by your feet. Do you persuade him, knock him out? Let's try and persuade him. You wave the Superman comic in the air and hope it doesn't come across like a taunt. The child slides out of his trapped boot and limps after you. You drop the comic and run towards the shore. You make it to the flow edge. Your niece screams at you. Oi! Fucker! I don't want to run anymore! And the child is close behind. Frozen platforms lead out into the sea. You close your eyes and leap. When you land on the floe, wet ice cracks under your boot. You slip and slam into the platform. Behind you, the child is determined to follow. You pick yourself up and leap. Crack. You and the child advance into the sea, one floe at a time. I mean, that's good if I want to sacrifice him, right? Crack. Crack. Oh, this seems bad. We're both going to fall into the ocean because I'm obviously insane. Right? This artwork is so fucking cool. "50 years ago, only a child, the qalupalik took you beneath the floes, as you had never known you wanted to. Sometimes, when your brother comes to fish, you tap the ice beneath his feet, wondering if he knows it's you. You watch him grow old without you and pass on. The wound feels fresh on your ageless skin. But as decades pass, you feel safer under the sea than in the settlement. The qalupalik takes care of you, loves you, and you grew close to you with the children she captures. You bury your toes into the sea floor and settle in for a tale. The oldest time always has more stories. Our tales are narratives of human experience, and therefore they do not always tell of beautiful things. But one cannot both embellish a tale to please the hearer and at the same time keep to the truth. The tongue should be an echo of that which must be told. It cannot be adapted according to the moods and tastes of man." Fuck! Another story? Does this one go differently? No, this is the same thing, I think. I genuinely wonder if, like, the choices you make matter. Like, if the story will go a different direction depending on the choices you make. That was a fucking good story, though. I couldn't pronounce half of it, but fuck.